to the top right of this 4-player map. It is Nerchio, Euronics gaming player who bopped Classic, but did have some trouble in the first set of this winner's match.
With patience, the green Protoss down the lower left hand quadrant of Frost. Now this is a much bigger map, so might not see any early aggression just set up for another one of those big macro games, but I mean, Nerchio knows how to play those as well, so trying to get a little bit of a redo here as he faces same matchup, but of course a much different, much stronger, evidently, player in Patience.
And obviously it's very powerful positions for Nerchio. The adept pressure that you deal with, even with the first adept on this map, comes so much later when you have to go cross spawns to get there, and it's pretty annoying for the Protoss, whose pressure is obviously just simply weakened by distance.
Well, I mean, for
scouts here,
yeah, for Protoss, like your pressure, like not necessarily weakened by distance if you're warping in on forward pylons, you have a warp prism or something, but that does take time. It doesn't affect like the timing on your super early rush.
It's true, and all, but
that's what
you know,
comes out.
it takes a little bit more time to get the pylons in position,
Right.
and more time for the Zerg to react, and also with the rework of gateways, or I should say warp gates, in Legacy of the Void, there's quick warp and slow warp is going to hurt your push as well. So there's definitely a lot more.
11 seconds, right?
I mean, it takes a long
It's
time.
actually forever. So I'm gonna rush you with my slow warp. No, it doesn't work that way.
You get the units forward, but it takes almost as long as it does to just make them in a regular gateway that way. It's something that the fans and esports viewers have been asking Blizzard to do for years, since Wings Liberty to rework the gateway, and I think they really delivered pretty nice.
I mean, Blizzard's been hitting it out of the ballpark lately, with just like patches across many of their games, putting in some good work. So nice to see. Legacy of the Void, by far, I think the most balanced version of StarCraft to date. I played Wings of Liberty. I got 4-gated a lot, so I'm super happy that's not a thing anymore.
Did you play on NA?
I did.
You probably got 4-gated by me, man.
A lot. Of course, I was also doing that 3 racks rush with Terran too, so I got to take what I give. But either way, now things in a much, much better state of balance, and so balanced, in fact, that foreigners can win in Korea.
That's what it is, man. It's all Blizzard's fault. Taking all the money away from the Koreans.
In all serious, we've already seen Neeb take a little bit. We'll see if Nerchio's going to come out here and take more. Now, this time around, you can see maybe overproducing, but just having enough Zerglings early to just stop this early push in here by this Adept in its tracks, send it back, and not have to deal with that crazy early pressure like you did in Game 1.
Yeah, making the Lings early, having them in position, clearing this Adept, and then you'll actually be able to escape with some of these Lings too, if you're able to get away. Nerchio, just when he doesn't play greedy, he's prepared for everything. Sphore's coming up again. He's ready. He's not going to get caught off guard by anything. And like when you look at it right now, is the Spore too early? Maybe slightly. Maybe just slightly, but it doesn't matter to Nerchio. He's going to just play it safe. He's not going to have a greedy Spore time. He's not going to try to get up right as the Oracle flies in, because that's what every Korean Zerg tries to do, is to be greedy as possible.
I just look at this. He's got Queens in position.
Yep.
Spore's already built. This Oracle, no, those are the rocks. The Oracle, it is actually going to get in and get a couple of kills. But the Adept, however, not quite so lucky. It's going to get trapped, picked off there.
That is not going to be that all too useful here. Okay, the second Oracle will come over and defend this.
I mean, still going to get all those pylons down. Nope, you do need to finish it. We'll get that out. Doesn't kill the probe, but still decent harassment. Nerchio showing that he can not only take the harassment, but also give it back.
That's right. And this is not too significant damage.
Is he going to get the probe? He traps the probe in the mineral lines. Oh my god.
He's gonna, if he kills these pylons, he unlocks, more powerful follow-up attacks here without overcharge being available.
I think he's actually going to get it so close. The pylon survives.
1 health.
Oh my god. It's literally 1 HP. He's going to do a ninja sneak attack with these Zerglings, man. He's actually not going. Oh, is he?
I don't think so. I think he's just going to try to run by here.
I mean, it's 1 HP. I mean, he's going to have more shields now, obviously, but that was actually pretty close.
Well, we do have, of course, these transitionings happening for both players. I think we're going to see Hydras again out of Nerchio, I imagine. He's
actually going to lose that Oracle. Okay, that's a little slow. He's going to lose both of them. Oopsies.
Well, that happened.
That's why. That's when you try to pick up your takoyaki with your chopsticks, like I was trying to do yesterday, and I get it halfway to my mouth, and it just falls out. You're like, oh well, I actually just oops there a little bit. Well, there's a little bit of a 2 oracles oops for Patience, as now he has very little harassment out on the map at all.
This sort of in almost every game, player error does occur, and in this case, it's going to be a very expensive player error because not only those oracles, I mean, they did actually get a lot of damage done, but saving them meant damage comes back. You get more damage done.
Okay,
speaking of damage,
round
this
2
could be pretty successful over here. I don't think he has enough transfuse energy. I'm not sure because that's not being shown to us.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough to save one of those queens. This second queen is actually in a little bit of a rough spot. He wants to shade on top of these drones, and he will, so at least a few casualties here. This needs to snipe that 1 HP
1 HP adept, 1 HP
here come the Zerglings. They might actually be able to get a nice round, but a shade completes and gets those adepts out. So a little bit of harassment, but still, you look at the drone count, and now after holding off that first early harassment, taking out the oracles, Nerchio just drones all the way up now, almost at 70 workers.
Very powerful droning here, as you mentioned, and Spire is going to be the tech of choice here. This is something we don't normally see in Korea as a tech option. It's usually for transitions only, but Nerchio is going to bring a little bit of European flavor here and go for this early Spire. It's important to make sure that that is hidden from Patience, as you see a little bit more harass being done here. If he hides the Spire, it can really hop in and surprise Patience, who's preparing for a totally different type of tag.
All these adepts are going to go down. Only 6 drone kills, and for Nerchio, I think that's more than successful defense.
He must have scouted the Spire as he is going Phoenixes now, and I'm guessing one of the adepts scouted it then. We don't have a vision check on that, but the scouting this is huge. I was talking about how it's critical to keep this hidden, and the fact that he has been unable to do so will make these Phoenixes the perfect answer. He's even getting +1 attack. May add a fleet beacon
where
soon.
those force fields, he might actually trap those sentries against the wall. I guess they trapped themselves, but they're okay with it. They stay alive, and here comes this Immortal Pressure.
Actually could target down the Spire, and that's exactly what he does here with this Immortal. Wants to kill this Queen first. The Spore is even coming in here to try to punish this. He actually needs more units back here. He needs Lings. They are coming up with some Roaches here. The Spire should be fine. And the War Prism is actually being targeted down right now. I don't think he can save that Immortal if he loses this Prism. Obviously he cannot.
That Spire is actually pretty close to dead.
Oh my god, no way. No way.
And he saves the War Prism, and he saves the Immortal. Okay. I was a little bit nervous when he lost those 2 Oracles earlier, but now I've got some rekindled hope in my body, wherever it is, whatever part of your body feels that hope. That's where I got it. And air weapons, lots of Phoenixes coming out, and a solid 3 base economy.
Really interesting that he continues to make these Phoenixes after he knows the Spire was destroyed. So what he's planning here is to stop the Hydra transition potentially with all those Phoenixes, lift them while the count is early. And while it's low, as in the early stages of building them, also can use the Phoenixes to lift Lurkers later on when we will no doubt have the Lurker Gen transition. 16 Hydras on the way already. +1 going to make these very powerful. The Phoenixes get 2 attacks, that's applied twice, and Hydras are light units with a fairly large hit point count. I mean, they're basically glass cannons.
Fairly small hit point count.
Yes.
Okay. I was going to say, they're glass cannons that are really tanky. Well, I don't know how you make that glass. That's like the iPhone cover glass. It's actually indestructible. But Hydras are not. They do die pretty quickly, although there are a sizable number. I'd have to look at the unit count. But yeah, Hydras, Roaches, a big push of forming here for Nerchio as he comes out around from the top. Now there's a big gateway wall there in front, so that might allow him to start poking in. He's going for it.
If he actually hits that pylon, a lot of those gateways will get unpowered as well. Okay, he's reinforcing that right now, so only a few of them will get unpowered if he gets that. He's pulling this Protoss army away, and Patience has no idea.
He's going for it. He's going to actually... no, he's actually not going for it. He could actually unpower all of those.
Okay, just going to kill the gateways. Wants to do more permanent damage. Meanwhile, these Lings find damage over here.
And he's going to stop
Nerchio, his multitasking is on point right now.
He knows exactly when to pull back there as well. He pulled Patience's army all the way back, and then just is pulling back and forth and back and forth. Now here comes the first big attempt at pushing Nerchio away Guardian Shield up, but Nerchio on top of the retreat.
Nerchio's attacks are very precise. He knows the angle at which to attack where the Protoss army is hindered by its own buildings. And that's what we've seen from him already 3 of the 4 games we're watching right now, especially on Sejong when he had the Lurkers and Hydras, used it well there. He's using it here again, minimalizing the surface area that the Protoss army can get, minimizing the concave. Now going to knock out this War Prism and shut down this adept attack. And so, I mean, as he now gets geared up to push across the map, I mean, the disruptor hits are going to have to be really good. He has 4 disruptors, so he can absolutely just crush this army.
God,
but
look at how many lurkers that is.
It's usually on the Zerg side of things to win this battle. The Protoss can't like really hard move his orbs with the split. If the Zerg army is split, the adepts, or not the adepts, the disruptors will just inherently get less value. So if Nerchio micros this correctly, positions correctly, again using these buildings, this is going to be a very powerful attack, but the counter is there.
He's going to transition to what looks like maybe Baneling drops there as well in the back, so we'll see if that comes out. But with 13 Lurkers morphed and moving out on the map, he might actually be able to catch Patience's army out there. Burrows, all those Lurkers and those 2 very sad Immortals might not make it back to their squad.
Cannons over here are going to minimize this damage. Looks like he could try to target down some disruptors. I think he's just not looking at these.
I think he's just scouting with those.
I think they're just rallied back.
Taking the scenic route.
Yeah.
All the way around that base.
Notice also something else that we haven't really talked about is Nerchio is massing these Overseers. This will always give him vision, but more importantly, it will allow him to use Changelings to help reposition the army as well. So we've seen this already used by him earlier on, and we'll see him use it again here to try to block some of these units. It's very effective as a tactic if used correctly.
All right, both players morphing, or maxed, but morphing a million Banelings here. That's going to be about 30-40 supply worth of Banelings. Out there off to the side, looking to come around for a flank. Now they have been spotted, or those Lurkers rather have been spotted. They're the ones coming around for the flank here. Patience's army in a little bit of a rough spot. If it does get pinched, here come the Banelings.
Oh, man. Okay, these are not split, though, these Lurkers, but he stops.
Oh, my God.
Okay, huge hit there. The
Banelings. Oh, but they get stopped by those force fields. Brilliant defense. The hold, the Banelings, they can make it through.
The Lurkers here, though, do siege up, and they're going to get on top of these Immortals. But there's vision here with an Observer, so we can start to clear this up. And this is a very expensive exchange on both sides. As the dust clears, though, Nerchio remaxes with 32 additional Hydralisks. With a solid fight there for Patience. I mean, the trade, I think, for him was much more cost efficient. He also has a much larger bank right now.
Right. Oh, well, Nerchio did have the larger bank, but had to spend it remaxing on all those Hydralisks. Really well played by both players. A great positioning there by Nerchio to pinch Patience's army against that wall, and then Patience just had the most godly force fields ever to defend. But now, the mothership warping in for Patience. Is that the recipe for success?
I'm trying to figure out what his plan is going to be here with all these Stargates, because it's certainly not, well, hold that thought, we're going to have this big split. Nice split there, actually. Really well done. Needs to split again here. Tough to do with the orb in this position, but he is actually pushing this back, killing these expensive disruptors right now. And let's not forget, Patience just made 3 Stargates, so he doesn't have a lot of resources to remax this army. He's in a tough spot right now.
Immortals and Disruptors are not retreat units. They just don't run away. Nice splits there by Nerchio, and those Hydras, like you mentioned, now faster off creep. You can see how effective that was at pushing back Patience's army.
I'm really curious what these Stargates are going to be used for, because if he goes Tempest, it's going to take a long time. Okay, he is going to go ahead and grab that first Tempest. He doesn't have the bank to make that while he's trying to remake these Disruptors. So 5 Stargate Tempest with only 200 gas in the bank. Definitely going to be a long, long road before that becomes a large, significant force. Let's also point out that to the top of the map, near the 12 o'clock position, Nerchio has taken a 5th base, which I don't think Patience has even scouted yet. So he's getting all that free extra money.
Yeah,
it's a score down.
You're going to give him an opportunity to maybe put pressure on from the top. He wants to use the rally point that way. But like you said, Nerchio's taking another base, so is Patience here, but it will be canceled. Nice snipe there by Nerchio.
Good snipe there. Lings, some of them escape as well, looking for more pressure, drawing Patience's army out of position, so this Lurker army can actually get on top of that 3rd base.
Okay.
That was pretty solid.
Interesting. That's a little bit risky, having all those Disruptors that far away. from a protecting pylon. Nerchio grouping up there down towards the bottom is really looking to smash this 5th base attempt by Patience.
Yeah, he sees it. He doesn't have charge yet, so these Zealots are taking their sweet time getting across the map, but they will be there soon. These Spines not ready in time. This base is going to be decimated. It's going to be killed. Several drones going down as well. Good control here by Patience.
I think he's going to be in there in time to save it. So Nerchio on top of the defense. Does lose a little bit, but
yeah,
able to save it.
He didn't actually target. He targeted drones, or chase the drones down instead, which is quite significant. But meanwhile, this Stalker army is actually going towards the right side of the map. And let's see how well he defends this. I don't know how many units he has back at home. Oh, he decides not to commit.
Oh, yeah, I actually might not be able to pull back in time. Mothership back at home with all those disruptors for defense, but where is Nerchio going to go? He's going to cut off Patience's army, and this might be what wins him the game. A huge arc of Zerg here, blinking backwards, but losing all of his immortals at the same time.
Force Field's going to force him to move away for now, but it looks like he wants to just go for the attack. These 3 Archons actually may draw him back as well. He's going to send those up to harass the base. He's sending half of his army to defend, mostly pure Lings, so it's going to take a little while with these very upgraded Zealots and Archons, but he will eventually clean this up. The second part of his army looked like it wanted to continue to chase the Stalkers, but instead he's also sitting that up to the top of the map. As it turns out, Archons and Zealots are 2 different types of counters to Zerglings. Finally, we'll clear this up. The 2 Zealots, though, still finding a little bit of damage. They're so low.
He thought they were going to die, so he actually just pulled back his Zerglings.
Oh my god.
They actually do get a lot of drone kills. He can actually just kill those Zealots with the drones. But instead, he's actually got to remember to fight the rest of, fight his battles on the rest of the map.
Now, Patience is really starting to take the economy away here with this attack, and he's got his own base down here. Let's see if Nerchio can deny this.
Here come the Disruptors hits. Will they be good? They are. Now, those the Tempest up in the top, on top of the high ground. Are the Hydras going to be able to take them out? So many lifts, but it's still only 1 Tempest surviving here. Are there enough Hydras for Nerchio?
I think there are enough for the time being here, but the question is, will he have enough later? Is someone that 1 Zealot is still killing drones over there? His base is not even mining.
I mean, he will actually kill this 4th or 5th base rather for Patience, so that means his mining actually might not be that much. He does not have the same bank that Nerchio does, up at 5k gas. Oh my god.
But he has the better tech. He's got Phoenixes, he has a mothership, which is going to be a pain to deal with this low Hydra count. I never thought I'd cast a game where a player has 300 minerals but 5,000 gas, but I'm doing it right now. He needs that money. He needs the drones mining. They're going to get harassed here again by Phoenixes this time. He needs to keep this base mining so he can remake an army, because Patience, yes, he lost a base, but he has a decent bank. And again, that tech I was talking about that Nerchio is going to struggle to deal with. There's Archons in the mix. There are 6 Disruptors and even 4 Tempests for ranged poke.
Oh, a little bit of bad pathing there. Those Lurkers should get cleaned up. Actually, those guys are pretty fast. But yeah, like you mentioned, the tech disadvantage is just going to be a little bit rough to deal with. This is a Hydra Zergling army that can't really do a whole lot against this Mothership Tempest composition that Patience has. Starting to get to that death ball level at the end of the game.
Yeah, he just doesn't have a strong economy. He has so much gas. I feel like you should actually pull probes out, or pull drones out of gas, send them over to that 5th base. I mean, he has rebuilt a lot of those drones, but he just needs to stabilize with money. Ling's going to just attack in here. This is not where he wants to be. He actually just needs to avoid this Protoss army until he can mass up a larger force. He's going to make several Overseers here, but unfortunately they will all get caught. Needs to cancel those.
But he's still going to lose all the Overlords. Actually, almost supply block there too. Does have to spend some larva on those on additional Overlords if he does want to hit max. Again, it's this maxed out, or not maxed out, Protoss army. Wow, great hits on the Disruptors. Mothership pushing in. He's going to suicide some of those Overseers in there, but he needs detection on top of this army.
Now that he has it, he has a lot of Lings here, but there's so many Archons underneath. I don't think this is going to work, and I think this is going to be game over. Patience should take this. GG!
Patience comes out with the win.
First place in this group. Most people were voting Classic and Maru to get out of the group, but yet again, in our 4th group, we have a 4th upset here. And basically out first, he looked very prepared. Crushed Maru. I'd say had in a weird way. I feel like he had a harder time with Nerchio than he did with Maru. But there you have it. Patience is getting out of the group in first place, guys. That's pretty impressive.
Now, Nerchio did have solid games against Patience, so now we await our next matchup, which is going to be, it's going to be Maru versus Classic. to see who will advance to face off against Nerchio to be our second player to advance. But first player to advance is Patience, very well deserved.
Yep. And before we go to that interview, we are going to have a short commercial break. Please do tweet at us with the hashtag KeSPA Cup. Or just tweet, you don't have to tweet at us, but just use that hashtag. We'll find your questions. We might be able to ask Nerchio if he advances in the group your questions. We are going to take that commercial break right now, guys. Tweet at us, and we'll see you in just a few.
Next.